In this video, we're going to break down Atomic Mass Games' latest panel to play, War of Kings and Gladiator. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Big Gaming. I hope everybody is doing fantastically well. Welcome to this, another MCP video. My voice is going, I do apologise, but I thought, or I really wanted to get this video out, taking a look at the latest addition to Marvel Crisis Protocol, and this is a big one because not only is it a brand new character, but for the first time in a long time we're going to get access to some brand new Crisis cards, and reading through it, it seems really interesting that there's going to be two modes of play with these Crisis cards. You can play them almost as a bit of a campaign, or you're going to be able to use them standalone and play them as you would normally do with normal cards. So let's jump over and take a look at Gladiator and the War of Kings. Let's start off and just take a quick look at the Gladiator model itself. I think this is really, really nice. We've got both the explosions and the lightning. You don't often get that in an MCP model, and a bit of smoke coming off there as well. This is a really, really cool model. I really like how dynamic he looks. And yeah, overall, really, really happy with the model itself. Let's go down then, and let's first of all take a look at only two of the 10 Crisis cards. Yes, we're going to be getting 5 new extracts and 5 new secures in this game, or in this box. And I want to address something. I saw a couple of comments, I think on Facebook and in some other forums, talking about how Atomic Mass Games were going back to basically putting tactics cards behind a paywall of character boxes. And we spoke a lot on this channel about how we didn't like that. You know, the 20 or so Crisis cards that we used to have in the game, they were 6 in the core box, and then the other 14 or however many there was were distributed out. You know, you got some in the Wakanda boxes, you got some in other boxes, you know, you got one with Hulk, you got one with MODOK, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that you were forced to buy a character or a character box, so sometimes 2 characters, to get access to one card. I see this box as being very, very different. This is a series of Crisis cards that can be used by everyone, but they are themed around this one character, or the War of Kings storyline from the comics. So I have no issue with it whatsoever being this way. If I had to spend money to buy one character and I'm going to get 10 new cards with it, or 10 new Crisis cards, I am more than happy with that. So overall, I don't see that being a problem, but let me know in the comment section below. But we do have a sneak peek of 2 of them. So we've got a 17 threat secure Guardian Save Shi'ar Empress in style. The setup for this is going to be terminal tokens, which will be points of interest, and you can see that. I think that's the B map. I think that's the standard B map setup. And then you score 1 VP for each security terminal you control during the cleanup phase. Interact, roll 3 dice. If the roll contains more crit hit wilds than the number of healthy enemy characters contesting this security terminal, you now control this security terminal. If a character is holding 1 or more extract objective tokens, you may re-roll 1 die. This I really, really like. So you could only ever roll 3 dice, but if there are, you know, if there is one person contesting it already and you get 1 result, you can re-roll 1 of those dice. I don't know if you can re-roll a failure. That's going to be really interesting. Obviously, in most cases you can't, but that is typically on, you know, dodges, on attacks, and on defenses. I'm going to assume and say yes, you can't. So if you get 1 result and 2 failures, then it's kind of tough. Yeah, I really like this. And then we've got another 20 threat, so another bigger threat. This is going to be the extract, ship security breached in royal rescue. So the setup for this is going to be 4 keycard tokens, which will be the assets. You can see the deployment below. And then for scoring, you score 1 VP for each character they control that is holding a keycard. Interact keycard, very, very standard, but you can only hold 1 keycard at a time. And then when a character holding a keycard interacts with an objective token, after the effect is resolved, it gains 1 power. This is really, really interesting. So it has a power generation ability, but you need to already have the power in most cases to be able to interact with it. So really, really interesting. With this one, I like that we've got a couple of center point extracts. So, you know, you're going to get a lot of value from your Namors, your Angelos, your ASM. But then there is also 2 down the middle that are slightly closer. So they're only 5-3 from the board edge rather than 5-4. Which is, you know, you need that long move on that medium base. So lots of other characters are going to be able to safely move up and collect that key card. I'm sure there's going to be some ways we may be able to steal our opponents, but that's going to need some tactics cards or some other abilities to be able to do that. But yeah, this looks interesting, and like I say, just more crisis cards are better. It means we get, you know, more variations of the game, and we're not playing the same ones over and over again. It's going to be really interesting to see what the themed or the themed game looks like, where you can play more of a narrative version of the game. They don't often do too well. You know, they never sort of detract hugely from the main part of the game, but it'll be interesting. And if it is fun and good enough, we may do a playthrough on the channel as well. So let's go down and take a look at the main event, Gladiator, aka Kallark. We can probably zoom in a little bit here just to make the card that little bit bigger. It does help if I select the correct screen. There we go, just so we can see that card a little bit better. So Gladiator Kallark, first thing to note is he is a 6 threat character. Obviously a threat level that we don't see too many of. You know, 5s, there's plenty of them out there, but 6 and higher, there's really only a handful of characters, and his stat line reflects that of a 6 threat character. So defense wise, he's 4-5-4 with 9 stamina on his front. And whilst the reverse card, we do have the other side of his card as well, so we'll take a look at that and see if anything changes. So huge amounts of stamina. He's obviously size 2. He's a medium move, and I think he was on a small base. That looks like it's a small base. It could even be medium, but I think it looks like it's a small base. So let's go through and take a look at his attacks first of all. Then, so we've got Praetor Punch, range 3, strength 6, 0 cost, and it's going to be power equal to damage dealt, but it does have the suppressive trigger in there. So for every wild, the character loses 1 power. The target character loses 1 power for each wild in the attack roll. That happens after the attack is resolved. So what's nice about this versus some of the other ways of removing power is if you do 3 damage and you've got 3 wilds in the roll, they're actually not going to get any power for that. In other iterations of this power grab, it happens before. So if the character you're attacking has no power, then it doesn't really do anything. So I do like that this is after the attack is resolved. We've then got I-Beam. This is going to be Beam 4, Strength 5. It's going to cost 2. And on a wild, it's going to Incinerate. This is pretty darn good value, especially with it being Beam 4 for 2 power. You compare him to other characters that have those beam attacks. I'm thinking like Cosmic Ghost Rider has an almost identical attack. That costs 2, but it is only Beam 3. But this guy is a 6 cost, so you would expect that to be slightly better. And then we've got Magister's Might. It's going to be range 3, so lots of long range or mid range on this character. Strength 10 is going to cost 5, but On a wild, it's going to dish out the stagger, and also on a wild, before damage is dealt, you may throw the target away short. Couple of things on this. It's before damage, which is always the best way. It is also not an omnidirectional throw, so it is away, but this guy can throw any size characters. He will be launching sentinels about or Dormammus or anything like that. He's got a couple of active abilities here or active superpowers that he can use. We've got for the Empress and Empire. It's going to cost 3. It's going to be an action, and it's this character immediately makes a move action followed by a Praetor punch. If this attack deals damage, this character gains 1 confidence token. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So it's a charge, but it's a charge with a particular or with a specific attack, but he is going to get a confidence token. So we don't know what those are yet. We'll take a look and see what we can do with them. And as pretty standard, it can only be used once per turn. Costing 3, I'm going to expect this guy is going to generate some extra power. And I can already see down at the bottom there, yeah, he's going to get an extra power per turn. Imperial Authority. This is, again, another active superpower. It's going to cost 3. Choose an interactive terrain feature of size 4 or less within 2 and throw it long. Because he has his throw, and we're seeing this a lot now, because he has his throw on his big spender that's character throw, they generally don't get access to a character throw as a superpower. I think this is fine. 3 power for a size 4, but it's long. The long there is the really, really good part of this. I feel like it could have been range 3 at that cost, but even so, I think this is absolutely fine. And then we've got an innate ability, the Magister's Bravado. When this character deals damage with a Praetor punch attack, after the attack is resolved, this character gains 1 confidence token. Okay, so when we use that for the Empress and Empire, we're actually going to generate potentially 2 tokens, because if it deals damage, he gains 1, but then he's going to gain another 1 from the Magister's Bravado. So that's interesting. When this character suffers damage, it loses 1 confidence token. This character may have a maximum of 5 confidence tokens at any one time. When this character makes an attack, it adds 1 die to the attack roll for each confidence token it has. Oh my word. Okay, this is very, very interesting, and I really, really like it. So he isn't spending these tokens, these confidence tokens. He starts with none, but he generates them in one of 2 ways. The Praetor punch, needing to do damage, and an extra one then for the Empress and Empire. So he can have a maximum of 5. So let's look at what a maximum of 5 tokens looks like. So Praetor punch all of a sudden goes to being a range 3 11 dice builder. I-beam goes to be a beam 4 10 dice beam attack. Like, these numbers are getting crazy and crazy. Magister's Might is a 15 dice attack. If he gets powered up early, this guy is going to be a huge problem. Now, how do you deal with that? Well, you do damage to him, and it's any type of damage. So let's say that he's starting and he has 5 confidence tokens, and you have a character. Let's use somebody like Loki, for example. Loki, Prince of Lies, where he has multiple ways to be able to damage. So if Loki does an attack into Gladiator and does a damage, then Gladiator is going to lose a confidence token. Let's say that their opponent or the Gladiator rolls a fail. So then there's an extra source of damage coming in there. So he would lose another confidence token. Similar with things like throws. If you've got a throw off the back end of your attack, you attack him, you do a damage, that's him losing 1, and then the throw will also, if it does damage, right, there's ways to mitigate that, but if it does damage, he's also going to lose a confidence token. I think playing against Gladiator, managing those confidence tokens is going to be really, really important. Even just having one confidence token is really, really going to boost this guy's damage output, right? Especially on that I-beam attack, you know, and then having one and then doing a Praetor punch, because you're now going from 6 to 7, it means you're that much more likely to be able to do damage with that attack, which means, hey, guess what? You're more than likely getting another token, so then the next attack you do, you're all of a sudden adding 2 extra dice into there. Yeah, really, really strong, really, really strong, and the type of character that I really, really like. Alpha Stronian Physiology, or Strontian, Alpha Strontian Physiology. During the power phase, he gains an additional 1 power, perfectly fine, and of course, as you'd expect, he has flight. So this guy is an absolute brawler. You know, he's got a high stamina line. We haven't seen his back yet, but a high stamina line, high defensive stat line, huge potential for damage output. He's got good movement. He's got good action economy with a for the Empress and the Empire. You know, he is going to be under Inhuman, so you're playing with original Black Bolt, and you're going to be able to get a power onto him turn 1, so that's really, really nice for that. Imperial Authority, you know, again, I think you probably want to prioritize for the Empress, so you're building those tokens, but there's a piece of terrain there, he can get rid of it and use it to daze another, or potentially daze another opponent. Let's go down and take a look at the other side of his card. And I mean, the first thing I am surprised at is he is a 9/9 character, giving him 18 stamina in total. That is absolutely crazy. Looks to be the same. Praetor Punch, I-beam, Magister's Might. The bit I want to check is, does the Magister's Bravado change at all? Doesn't look like it does. Confidence tokens are going to work in exactly the same way. So, okay. So he's going to be identical on his front and back. And boy, this guy is already looking very, very good. We did get a couple of tactics cards that were spoiled as part of this as well, or not spoiled, but shared as part of this. Let's just zoom out a little bit so we can see the full card here. Where we go, there we go. There we go. Come on, Richard. You know how to do YouTube things. You've been doing it for long enough now. Here we go. So card number 1 is going to be Praetor of the Imperial Guard. It's unaffiliated. During Gladiator's activation, he may pay 4 power to play this card. Choose up to X other allies, where X is equal to the number of confidence token Gladiator has. Each chosen character gains 2 power. Yeah, this is fine. A lot of these cards that give out power and things, distributing and giving out power has less of an impact the further into the game that you go. Is there ways of being able to do this as a turn 1 play? There probably is, especially under Inhumans. I mean, you know, the easiest way is you just have 2 powers activate and give him 2. But he's not going to have any confidence tokens at that point. So it feels like something that you're going to do later on in the game. And because of that, I just don't know how impactful it is. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I do like that it's unaffiliated, so he can bring it anywhere. And then we've got Protector of the Empire. So unaffiliated reactive. When another allied character is dazed or KO'd, an allied gladiator may pay 3 power to play this card. Gladiator may advance medium toward the enemy character that caused the effect, then make a Praetor Punch attack against it. If this dazes or KOs the enemy character after the attack is resolved, Gladiator gains 1 confidence token. This is really interesting. I often don't like these one-shot reactives, but but because of his potential damage output and the fact that this is board wide, so there's no range restriction on this. The only range restriction is Gladiator needs to be able to get there with a medium move and then be within range 3 to make the attack. And he gets an extra confidence token at the back end of it. Now, the value of this card is going to increase based on how many dice you're adding into that Praetor Punch, right? If you've got 5 dice, then that you're adding in, making it 11 dice, well, as long as he's got 3 power to play this card, it's going to be fairly easy for him to, I imagine, generate that 3 power back that he spent, and he's going to get another confidence token on top. Obviously, he can't do that if he's got 5, because 5 is the max. But yeah, I really like this one. This of the two is my favourite. But of course, it's my favourite. It's like, you hurt my guys, I'm gonna hurt you back. So yeah, very, very interesting. I want to just have a quick flick through and see if it gives us an idea of where he's going to be, because I mentioned Inhumans, but I don't actually know if he is. Let's have a quick look here. No, I can't see anything. I can't see anything that says where he's going to be. I mean, I can imagine seeing him in something like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I mean, do they really need this guy? Let's have a quick look. Let's see where he's been in the past. So if I go to his page, he has been, oh dearie me. So he's obviously, he's part of the Imperial Guard, so part of the Shi'ar. He's also on the Annihilators team. He's also on Dark Guardians, and he has been a member of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think Guardians are about to get a huge boost. Not only did they just get Nova, they've also now potentially got Gladiator as well. But I can see this guy being splashed quite a lot. I think between his card and his tactics card, it's very, very interesting indeed. I wanted to just take a quick look at this as well. So this is on the official Asmodee store. So you can see here, it tells you a little bit about what we're going to get. And you can see we get 1 Gladiator miniature, 1 base, 1 character stat card, and then 2 team tactics cards, which you've already seen, and then 10 crisis cards. So we are getting a guaranteed 10 crisis cards from this one. $44.99 is the price, which I think for a character and 10 cards is absolutely fine. No issues with that whatsoever. But there we go, guys. I think he's an absolute beast. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Again, apologies for the dodgy throat, the dodgy voice. Quite nice that he's come out before we did our 6 threat breakdowns, so we'll include him in the list as well. But I'm really, really looking forward to getting him. The model looks really nice, but as I say, Gladiator is a great character, and I'm glad they've made a really good character for this pack. But the big thing for me is, when do we get our hands on all of those other tactics cards? Crisis cards even, because they're what I really want for the game. So we're going to leave it there, guys. I want to give a big shout out to all of our Patreon and YouTube members. If you do want to support us, you can do so from as little as £1 a month. There'll be a link down in the description below for Patreon, or just hit that join button. But as always, you don't need to do any of those things. Just simply liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing really, really does help. Our goal for 25 is to hit 10,000 subscribers. We're about 70-something% of the way there at the moment, and over 60% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world. Check out our Discord. We'll be hosting our February MCP tournament coming up very, very shortly. So that'll start at the beginning of February. So go and check that out, where Gladiator will be a legal character. So you can take him and play with him and see what damage he can do on the battlefield. We're going to leave it there, guys. As always, it leaves me just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.